see Suker soup on a hot summer day. Coffee comes back in a nerve-wracking way. The dishes and laundry take the garbage out. What a day, what a day, what a day.
Well, welcome to Capital Region today. We're so happy that you're joining us today. We've got a great lineup, as always. We have some wonderful guests that are coming. This is September the 15th, and this is my 1,145th show. Where did the time go, right? But anyways, we're so happy you're joining us today. I'm Ann Pearl, your host, and we have a number of guests. I'll just tell you who's going to be on the show today. We're going to be talking with the Capitol Repertory Theater and about their production of Ethel Waters' His Eyes on the Sparrow. We'll meet one of the performers there, well, the performer, I guess I should say. Then we're going to talk about the Kids Art Festival, one of my favorite events, and that's instead of June, we're holding it here in September. It'll be on the 25th. And that same day, we're going to be also having the Glenville Oktoberfest, and that's also September the 25th. It's kind of worked out that you could do one and then do the other one as well, so you can catch both of those. We're going to be talking about Save the Pine Bush. If you haven't been to the Pine Bush or know where it is, you're going to learn a lot right here today. And then we're going to learn about the Rotary Gift of Life golf tournament that's coming up. That'll be at Pinehaven. So we have a number of things we'll be talking about today, and we're going to start right out with our first guest. We have Maggie Mancinelli Cahill. She's a producing artistic director at Capitol Repertory Theater, and they're in their new home, by the way. And with her, she's brought Jannie Jones, and she is, I guess, Ethel Waters? But let's start right now. Welcome to both of you. I'm so glad you're on the show today.
Thank
Maggie, you've got a great production. It's getting wonderful reviews in the paper and everywhere.
Well, it's getting wonderful reviews because of Jannie and her,
Yay, Jannie!
her portrayal of Ethel Waters,
Yeah.
which is quite stunning. And I don't always say things like that, you know.
No, I know. You're very honest. You're an honest person.
I am honest, and I will always lead with the positive, but I don't have to here. I mean, Jannie is wonderful. And Josh Smith is our musical director, and
we have a picture of him that we'll be showing during the show.
He's great. And the two of them map out the life of Ethel Waters through her music, which is, her music is quite significant, and people are quite surprised, I think, when they come to find out the songs that she introduced into the culture.
Well, I'm going to go to you, Jannie. Did you know a lot about Ethel Waters before you took this role?
I co-created the role in 2005. At that time, I didn't know a great deal. I had heard of her, but I didn't know a great deal about her.
What was the most interesting thing that you did learn about her?
That she had such an impact on fighting for our rights, about having roles, not the stereotypical roles, you know, the mammy roles, that she fought very hard and very diligently, and she was ostracized and finger pointed, but she stood her ground, and because of her, you know, all of the people that followed behind her standing on her shoulders.
That's right.
I want roles that mean something. She says a line, I want my roles to be more than Yassam and Noam.
Yeah.
And they considered her a troublemaker because she was standing. I just wanted to be treated like a human. She said one particular place, she said, this producer, he didn't even consider me human and called me difficult because I wanted to have fair treatment. And she fought diligently. And because of her, all those who came behind her standing on her shoulders, and now they have roles of substance.
And they've said that about Sidney Poitier in a way, or what's his name, Paul?
Robeson.
Yeah,
Paul
Robeson.
Robeson.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
same thing. That you know, they came out and they were strong, and yet it wasn't. And like you say, they didn't accept them as equals, as being, you know, Hattie McDaniels. I mean, think about what she did with her roles.
Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind, but it was they were always when you stereotypical. I mean, I'm trying to think of the
stereotypical roles,
like a caricature.
The mammy role. Someone, there's a line in it where she said, you know, they wanted me to be somebody you can laugh at. You know, I'm supposed to, but you know, I don't want that. They can keep their movies. Well, she said they're D movies. But
but no, she was right, and it's and like you said, it took. I would say that it took giant steps, but it didn't. It took baby steps to get where you got. And I watch TCM, and we were talking, and they were talking about some of the movies that they show are going to be offensive with the blackface and things like that. But they said it's important that you understand what came before and the steps that were made, like with Hattie McDaniels and Paul Robeson.
The process.
But Ethel Waters, we're talking about today. But
Yeah.
but it's important to discuss the entire scope of what's going on. And you say you co-wrote it? Did
No,
you? Oh.
co-created the role.
Co-created the
The
role.
role was created back in 2005.
Oh,
And
okay.
Me and my co-star, we were alternating days because
Okay.
it's such a tremendous piece.
Well, you're on stage the whole time.
Yes, we are.
And I understand that you don't do, full costume changes, but you do suggestions of costume changes.
We add costume pieces, we add props, to accent what song we're singing or the era that we're in or what we're doing.
So with the show is I want to say a two-person show. It is really, because you have the piano player.
Yes.
But you're the one that's doing
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, it's me. I take him from young Ethel, where it starts out with Ethel as mature, come to realization of where she is now, finding herself, finding her deep spirituality at the Billy Graham Crusade. But then we go back to young Ethel and follow her chronically, follow her life all the way back up to the Billy Graham Crusade.
Yeah.
It's an amazing, and her journey.
Yeah.
Her tremendous journey.
And when we have shows like this, it just kind of makes you realize these are real people. These
Yes.
aren't just people that,
Right.
I wrote a script for. No, these are real people, and I think we need to acknowledge the efforts that they put into bringing better stuff coming forward.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
How's the reception been for the play? Because it's gotten wonderful reviews, and like she said, I think it's you, Jannie.
It is Jannie, and also I think people like the story. Ethel Waters was a tough cookie, as I would say if I ran into her and I was working with her today. But she really came out the hard way, and she knew what she wanted. But the thing that I love about the story, and this is true about me and everything that we do at Capital Rep, I love a story about redemption. And I always have, whether we're doing a Christmas story,
Yeah.
a Christmas carol, with the Dickens famous redemption of
Oh, my,
Ebenezer
yeah.
Scrooge, or a real life story like Ethel Waters, who had to find her own spirit in order to really forgive herself for her upbringing. And she did. And her path might not be everybody's path, but people really identify with that idea that you can find a path and you can, bring into a positive light your past and build a better future. And that's what I really love about the story. And I was looking for a story with a small cast.
Yeah. We have,
because
especially with
a
COVID,
lot-
yeah.
And a lot of, we're an equity theater, so we have a lot of rules and regulations with that. And I knew that we had to start small. And so I called Jannie about another show, and she said, well, you might want to consider looking at Ethel Waters. And so,
Lucky you.
well, it was really lucky me, because she
Yeah.
said, I like this work, and I think you might too, Maggie, for who you are. So it was a match made in heaven, let's
Yes.
say.
And
so.
you've performed, I read your obit, your bio.
Not
Did I
a
say-
bit, not
No,
yet.
not,
No,
did
no.
I say obit? I
Yeah.
think I did say it.
Her biography.
Her biography. You're alive, you're good, there's no problem there. I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from, but it just came out wrong. Which shows that we don't rehearse here, so anything could come out right. I mean, who knows? But I read your biography, and it's very impressive that you've been performing quite a bit. So this is just must be a great role. And the nice part about it is you're here for a while.
Yes.
You don't have to be driving back and forth and there for a week and here the week and that. So it's really great.
It's not a tour, it's a regional theater.
Yes.
Sit-down
And that's what I
production.
love about Cap Rep, that they do that, and it's going to be here. So how long will this play be here?
We go through September 26th.
Okay.
And we play Tuesdays through Sundays, as you know. We only have one show a day on this because it's too hard vocally for any performer.
Well,
to do
because
2
you're on the
shows
whole
a
time,
day.
yeah.
So people do have to check the schedule to make sure that they know
When
it's
they
a
can
little
get there.
different on Saturdays and Wednesdays, so
And
just
you're
check it out.
COVID compliant, obviously, but
Yes.
all theaters are.
Yes, we've really taken safety as number one, and we are requiring our audiences.
We got to protect
to
Jannie
show-
here, too.
That's right, well, yeah, and so we have our audiences show their backs and wear masks throughout. And I think that's going to be pretty standard, Broadway's doing that too.
Right.
And so it has really helped people to feel more confident.
Right.
And we don't blame anyone who's not ready yet to sit in a theater with strangers, but I am
It's
very-
gonna come.
It's going to come, and slowly working together and understanding that we're in this turmoil right now. It's going to help.
We're all in this together, and
That's right.
if we don't work together, this virus is gonna just hang around.
Yep.
I'm hanging. Jannie, it was such a pleasure to meet you, and I guess I would say break a leg, but I really don't want anything bad to happen to you, even though we know what it really means. We just don't want anything to happen. So anyway, thank you so much for being here, and it's such a pleasure to meet you, and you're so energetic and have such a beautiful smile, and I'm sure you just light up that stage.
Thank you for
Good,
having me.
great, good. So we know that it's going to be running through the 26th, and how do people get their tickets?
They should go to our website is the really easiest way, www.capitalrep.org.
Okay.
And get tickets online or call our box office, which is, I think, 445 show.
Okay.
And you can do that. But I recommend going online. You can get a ticket very easily, and we're ready to see everybody.
You're ready to see it. Well, thanks for being here, Maggie. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show and
Thank
to
you
learn
so
about what you're
much.
doing there. We're going to switch over to our wonderful Kids Art Festival, and we have an artist with us. Your name is Oscar, and you have been Bogran, right?
Bogran, yeah.
And then you are a graphics artist, is that correct?
I consider myself like multidisciplinary. I'm from a migrant family. We moved to Brooklyn when I was about 7, and the first thing I saw was graffiti art. So when I
Oh,
saw,
okay, I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah,
And
so-
some of it is amazing.
a lot of it is amazing. It's been stigmatized a lot, but there's so much talent out there and so much to express through like graffiti art that I'm kind of like happy that we're going to be able to bring some of that to the Kids Art Festival.
Yeah. And then we got Betsy here, and Betsy is the chairperson
Yeah.
of this, and you work so this woman is the hardest working woman that I know. I have to say that because you are in everything and you just keep going.
Well, no worries. And we're wearing our masks because we're indoors. And one of our activities at this, our 27th Kids Arts Festival, is going to be tie-dye face
Oh,
masks.
wonderful.
We're going to have 3 different, procedures, 3
Okay.
different ways to decorate. These are 100% all cotton.
Cotton.
They are so comfortable. And
I have
they're
one like that, and
adjustable.
they are
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah, so I just wanted to, that's what we're wearing masks because we're indoors, but we'll be outdoors on September 25th around City Hall.
And we're around City Hall, okay.
And the J Street pedestrian walkway. If it rains, we'll be inside Proctor's.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Well, it's great that Proctor's works so closely with
Yes,
you.
yes.
The masks are important, and just to let everybody know, everybody in this room is masked, except if they're sitting at this table and have been vaccinated, and that's the only time, and we are 6 feet apart. So we've done everything that
Yes,
we
yes,
can
we're
to be COVID compliant and try and beat this virus
Yes,
or just
yes.
knock it down. What do you got with you? You got a
Oh,
barrel
you
there?
know me, I always bring props.
She's got
I bring-
stuff with her.
And here's one of the things, when we couldn't get our permit for June, because as you know.
Yeah. There was a conflict.
Yeah, well, no, we couldn't get a permit.
Yeah.
On June, it was too early.
Yeah.
And we had to recalibrate for September. I emailed all of our participating agencies, and I just want to read one of the replies that we got from Margie Amadeo of the Kelly Center of the Adirondacks.
Okay.
I'm thinking origami monarch butterflies. I want to figure out if there's a way to fit a bobby pin in them so kids could put them in their hair or
Oh.
clip them on their shirts. I think kids running around covered in butterflies would be pretty awesome. And she made one for you.
Oh, cool.
Yes, so we'll have.
That is so cool.
That is one of our 40 activities, and it just really struck me, the whole thing about butterflies, the issue of, that looks great.
I don't
The
know.
issue of
Is it
turning,
in?
Yep, turning from a caterpillar into a butterfly is such struggle. And it made me think about, I'm around a lot of kids, as you know, in the parks, on the playgrounds,
I know
the
you
libraries.
are. Amazing.
And I see these kids and the adults too, going through such struggles all these pandemic months. And it made me think, and you know, I did not think we'd ever be able to top our 25th anniversary
I know,
year.
we had such a great time.
Oh, it was so wonderful. Well.
Yeah, the bikes and everything, we had so much
Well,
stuff.
it's gonna be even better this year.
Even better.
Yeah, it is, because the butterfly theme, we have the butterfly bike.
Yeah.
It will be there, and we have so many cool activities.
And how's Oscar going to
Oh,
be?
Oscar is, well, as he said, he's going to be creating some art there, and do you
Yeah.
want to talk about?
Yeah,
you wanna
tell me what
speak
you're going
about
to do,
that
because
with the
I
kids?
really want to know what you're doing, Oscar.
So we're repurposing doors, right? We're gonna grab about 3 or 4 doors. We're gonna prop them up, and I'm gonna be doing a live mural during the event. So for about 4 hours, you'll see me spray painting my butt off outside.
And kids. right.
And the kids, obviously. The
What
kids,
a great idea. Are
Yeah.
you getting them from a Habitat?
Oh, no, we have them already.
You already
Yeah,
have
yeah,
them, okay.
yeah.
I just didn't know where they're coming from, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm gonna be creating some stencils too, so, you know, I know a lot of kids get nervous because they might not know what to do, but the stencils makes it easier.
That's a good idea, because kids may be a little bit unsure, and
Right.
then if they do, they may just go wild, and then you
Yeah.
kind of lose the theme. yeah.
Exactly. So they'll be, you know, helping periodically throughout the process, and hopefully by the end of the 4 hours, we'll have a done piece that we can be able to display after the event.
Yeah.
Won't that be
Yeah.
fun?
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, is this the first time you've done this, Oscar?
No, I'm a professional artist.
No, I mean with kids.
I used to be an arts educator.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah, I
there,
used to teach at public schools as an art teacher. So I've always worked with middle school, high school age kids, and higher ed. I've done higher ed also. So I just have a knack, I guess, for the youth. They just gravitate towards me. I don't know why.
Well,
Sometimes
you
it's a curse.
must have that little, would you like my butterfly?
No, I-
You know, I mean, there's something about you that's magical.
Yes,
must
he
be
is.
the artsy thing. I don't know. But yeah, definitely the kids are just, they keep me young. They keep me motivated. They inspire me. You know, and just, it's just, I
But
can't-
if you can give the kids just that little spark that
Yeah.
gives them the confidence to do something creative, and I don't say just art, because we do, the Kids Arts Festival has a multitude.
We run the gamut.
So
We
what
have
else do
some
you have?
Science. Well, here's the thing that, as you know, Karen Johnson, one of the founders, it was always her dream to have Alex Torres and his Latin Orchestra bring their arts and education program to Kids Arts Festival. Well, this year we can finally do it. So Alex Torres is going to be teaching percussion rhythms to kids, and then bringing groups of 10 of them up on stage with him to perform
Oh.
a song. So to go along
Alex
with
is
that,
amazing, though, his
to
music.
go along with that,
We're gonna
we've got these drums. And this one hasn't been primed yet, but kids will get to decorate their own drum.
Where did you get those?
This company in Gloversville that donated, we have over 50 of them. We're also doing oatmeal containers, smaller. And so
What
anyway.
a great idea.
It is, because not every kid, probably, you know, typically we have 3,000 to 4,000 kids
I
coming
know,
to this
I know.
event. We don't know how many are gonna come, maybe
It's
more.
outside, but it's outside.
Yeah, it'll be outside. If it rains, we'll be inside Proctor's. But if we, so we're bringing these drums because then at least kids can participate in the audience if they aren't able to cycle through on stage.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so
So everybody
that's-
gets a chance to,
Yes.
so are
yes.
you gonna play us a little song?
Oh, well, I have to dump it upside down, and then I get rid of all my other props, just really
Okay.
quick.
What's
We
that?
also- This is a recorder.
I know, oh, yeah.
And I have saxophonists who performed at Jazz on J.
Okay.
Which is still
Yay,
going
Jazz on J.
Jazz on J
Yeah,
tomorrow.
every
and-
Thursday.
And next Thursday are the last two.
Yeah.
But Henry Fernandez and Juan Rashad are gonna teach kids how to play the recorder, because we usually have a test drive, a trumpet, test drive.
Yeah.
This is called blow your horn. And then they're gonna do dueling saxophones, which is gonna
What
be
fun.
really cool on the
Fun.
stage.
Yeah.
And then we're
When you
gonna-
say on the stage, how many stages do you have?
well, we're only gonna have the one stage.
Okay.
And because there's so much load in. And the kids from Rock Camp, Universal Preservation Hall's Rock
Okay,
Camp this
yeah.
summer, they are gonna open the stage at noon, they're gonna knock your socks off.
Can't wait,
You're
can't
not
wait.
We did put on our Facebook a short video of them. They are fabulous. And we've got.
Such talent out
Yeah.
there, is it?
Yeah. So we've got lots of other activities. We're gonna decorate that chain link fence.
Oh, yeah, we did that last time,
With a butterfly
yeah.
theme, you know?
Yeah.
We've got all sorts of yarn that is easier.
Is Steve working on that?
Steve
Yeah,
Kowalski
yeah,
and Serena Butch. And we've got, the Hamilton Hill Arts Center is going to
yeah. Oh,
bring
good, I'm glad to.
their own drummer, and they have an African dance teacher who will be demonstrating
The emoji,
dance
yeah,
steps.
the-
Yeah, from
yeah,
Emoja,
yeah.
just one of them.
Yeah.
Will be demonstrating dance steps. We've got the tie-dye face masks. We've got, there's so,
I think we're gonna have trouble with Oscar because he's gonna wanna walk around and see some of
yeah,
this.
well, he's gonna be.
We're gonna have to chain him to the
No,
spot.
well, he's gonna be front and center, so he'll be able to.
Oh, you'll be able to see
I'll-
everything.
He'll be
I'm
able
pretty
to
much
see a
dead.
lot. He won't be able to go to the poster contest. We have a poster contest again. Three different age groups can each win $100.
Wow.
The theme now is what is happiness, or what does happiness mean to you, your
That's
family,
a great
your community,
theme,
your
yeah,
school.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, much more positive. And so that'll be in front of the Electric City Art Gallery, and they have artists there, and they're gonna be having tours
That's a
of the
new
gallery.
art gallery, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
Joey Matula is the owner there. It's 160 J Street.
Yep.
We have, Create Community Studios is going to be doing messy art. We're
Yep.
going to have a pottery wheel again. We're going to have New Choices. They're going to be doing me books.
There's always, you're not doing face painting this year, right?
No,
Because of
no
COVID?
face painting,
Okay,
but,
just so everybody knows, we're not gonna do that.
But MVP, one of our main sponsors, is going to be having a chalk zone, and kids can draw on chalk. And they're going to have boxes of chalk for kids to take home, whoever
Oh,
wants
nice,
them.
nice, nice.
And, on our website, this didn't translate well, so I didn't send it as a graphic.
Yeah.
But you can go to kidsartsfestivalschenectady.com, click on the activity list, and you're going to see all of
The
the
activ-
activities.
And you're on Facebook as
And-
well.
Yeah,
to do
that's
that.
it, yes, and on Facebook, and including 3 people finally filled out their activity forms for me last night.
know. It's
So,
always a
there's
strain to get
still
everything.
3 more activities I don't know if they're gonna
Yeah.
get on, because I've got a prime drums, and I've got a finger knit for more,
You
for the
finger
chain-
knit those?
Yes, we finger knit for the chain link fence, because it's a lot easier than wrapping yarn.
Oscar, I want to thank you so much for being here and
Thank you.
telling us about what's going on in your life and how you're involved. And how did you find him?
Oh, through the Common Unity banners. If you've
Okay.
been on the Craig Main
Okay.
Street, they've got these huge banners up. And again, as you know, so many kids have come with us and grown up with us, and we needed activities that teenagers would want to do.
Uh-huh.
And I see the way the teenagers gravitate to him. And he worked in the Schenectady City Schools, so.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, Oscar, it's a pleasure to have met you, and
Thank you.
I'm going to look for you at that Kids Art Festival,
I
too.
hope so.
Yeah,
Hope to
good.
see you there.
Thank you. Betsy, you've got your hands full, but
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got it. I don't know
yeah.
how you do it because you have to orchestrate.
Well, because I have such wonderful committee members. I don't do it alone. I
Yeah.
have a whole committee of 16 people. I'm going to try to get Oscar on it. I've got sponsors, wonderful sponsors like MVP Healthcare, the Schenectady Foundation, Stewart's Shops. This year, Fair Game Grant, they gave us the grant to bring
That was great,
Alex
yeah,
Torres,
that was
because that's
great.
a big.
Yeah, that was a biggie.
And then and we have people who help us by giving, even just $50. $50 buys 100 little boxes of crayons that we can give kids, so I have a whole
And
bunch of
you'll
kids.
always take donations.
Oh, yes, go to our website.
Because they're going to
next
do
time.
it next year, too.
Oh,
So,
of
you know,
course we will,
we've
but
been doing.
hopefully next year we'll be back to the first Saturday in June. We want it in June.
Let's hope. Yeah, because,
Yes.
well, be that way when we do it in June, although this year you can still
Yeah.
reach the schools.
Oh, yeah, yes.
And in June, you reach the schools. So if it had been
Yeah.
if it was August, it might have been more difficult.
Right,
Yeah.
well, the thing in June why people want to come is they like to promote their summer camps.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
their
and I
summer
understand that,
workshops,
yeah. Yeah.
And now we still, yeah.
Okay, thanks,
yeah.
Betsy.
All right,
Always
thank
good
you,
to
Ann.
see you,
We'll
and
see you
I'll
on
be looking at you,
September
looking for you.
25th.
Yep. And I'm going to go there, and then, of course, I'm going to go over to you guys to see the Oktoberfest in Glenville. So tell me a little bit about what your plans are. You were on before, and we talked about plans coming up, and with you, you brought Valerie Garcia. Garcia, right.
Yep, from
And
Capcom.
she was on, and we talked about that as well. But tell me about what you've got now, because I've heard about the German food. Actually, I was talking to Jan, and she's telling me that they're getting ready for that German food.
I think they're starting to peel the potatoes. I think they
Yeah,
go
I
from
think so,
500 pounds.
500 pounds.
Yeah, it's, so, yeah, since we saw you last with Valerie there from Capcom, Capcom's our big title sponsor this year.
Yeah, and, oh, she was lovely, and it's funny because I saw her in an ad even on, I was on the computer, and she popped up for a Capcom.
Yep, she's on the billboards
Yeah.
in Glenville. So, yeah, we're really excited. We've had to, as I think I told you last time, we're being very careful on COVID, working closely with the county and the town, because we're on a town facility, to try and make sure that everything's really safe for folks. So we actually did make a decision that our main beer garden is actually not gonna be covered this year. So that way we're completely out.
Wide open and air. You got your ventilation, and
Yeah.
that's really the important thing is the ventilate. I was just reading that, just keeping windows open in your home or anything to kind of keep the air moving is always good. How many do you expect to come? I'm going judging from the past.
Correct. I think it's a little bit of a wild card. I
Yeah.
think, hopefully people are comfortable. I think when they see
Outside.
the measures we've taken, back in 2019, we had close to 12,000 people that day.
Get
It was-
out.
It was a tremendous crowd. That's not 12,000 at any point in time. That's over the course
No,
of
I
the
know.
day.
You don't get them all at once, thank goodness.
We've also cut back a bit on some of the kids' activities, similar to how the kids' festival's
Yeah.
not doing face painting. Some of the stuff like the bouncy bounces where the kids would be colliding with each other, we're not gonna be having those this year. We still have some slides. The town just opened they have an inclusive playground at Malik Park.
Oh, okay.
Opened yesterday.
Okay.
And so that's gonna be available for kids. So I think that not having quite as many kids' activities probably will shorten the time that people stay, but we're still hoping for a great turnout. and,
I'm sure you will, because people are looking to get out and enjoy, and they're looking for outside activities. There's no question about that. They feel more comfortable. What is your mask policy, or do you have one?
So, yeah, we're gonna be publicizing, we're pushing it on Facebook as well. Obviously, standard rules, if you're unvaccinated, you need to wear the mask. We're actually encouraging anybody or everybody.
Well, I've been vaccinated, and I have to tell you, I wear a mask quite frequently, even though I've been vaccinated. I could be a carrier.
Right.
And I don't want to be carrying this to somebody who, maybe is unvaccinated and not wearing a mask. I mean, I'm trying to think of living in a community where we're all in this together, that I have responsibility not to spread it,
Exactly. And typically our beer garden, we partner with the German American Club of Albany, and they loan us their big, long picnic tables.
Oh, is that what they do?
We love having the big, long benches, but we've split those open this year.
Give a little
they're gonna be
space.
mixed throughout the fields, so you're gonna be able to sit at your own tables. We're gonna be encouraging people to bring their own chairs. If they're more comfortable in their own chair, they can certainly
That's
do
good.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And they'll hang around longer.
I hope so. We've got a great lineup of music.
I
and-
know, you were telling me about that. What's the same bands, or have you added any more?
So we've modified a little bit. So we've, in the main beer garden area, we've got Gregory and the Brauhaus Band. They'll be kicking off right at noon. Some great
Get
traditional.
started right off,
Oktoberfest.
kick it off.
We're gonna go hard right from the beginning.
Okay.
So, they'll be out there, and then, we actually do have, a cruise and car show. So classic cars.
I saw that. I saw it in your ad. I think we brought it up there on the screen, yeah.
And so with it being a cruising car show, it's only appropriate to have 50s music.
Absolutely.
So this year it's Roxy and the Road Kings.
Okay.
So they'll be over in our other beer garden, the Wolf Hollow Beer Garden. They start at 1:30.
And you don't have dueling bands. In other words, one performs, then the next one comes up.
We're a little bit dueling, but they're off.
They're in different areas, okay.
They don't really overpower each other.
Okay, good.
And then at 4 o'clock, we're gonna switch it up, and Gregory finishes up. And then we have the Bratwurst Boys. They actually come up from New York City, and they're gonna be our headliner band in
this
the
is
main
gonna
area.
be cool.
So- And we're actually, another thing that we're doing, in addition to not having the beer garden tent, Schenectady County's been a great partner for us. They've loaned us their stage. So we're gonna actually have the
wonderful.
bands elevated on the stage, so they'll project nicely out into the fields.
Wonderful.
And again, that way it's safer for the performers
Now,
and everybody.
You said 12,000. Okay, so cut that in half. I mean, for driving, I'm thinking. At least 2 people in a car, okay? Where are they parking?
Luckily, we have a wonderful Malwick Park down in Glenville, We're gonna have all of the, anybody that's coming to attend the event is gonna come in through the western entrance. And we
The west,
actually.
oh, so there's that first entrance, and there's another entrance out further?
Correct.
Okay.
A little bit
Is
closer
that
to-
like on the hill, the top of the hill or something?
Yeah, over by Bonded Roofing.
Okay.
A little bit to the west, so if you're
Okay.
coming off the thruway, you can just take a right on Route 5 and come in that way.
Okay.
But at noon, the eastern entrance gets closed, because again, that's too close to the activities, so everybody will go in through the
Okay, so
western
you don't have a
entrance.
choice. It's not like you're gonna make a mistake.
Correct. And yeah, the Schenectady Auxiliary Police are great to help us out. Schenectady County Sheriff will be there, Town of Glenville Police, of course, and they'll be directing people in. Some people even choose to park in the Glenville Business and Technology Park and then
Why
walk
not?
across.
Yeah, well,
but
that's a busy road, though, sometimes.
It is, and again, it's great having
We're
the
talking
police
about
there
Route
to help
5,
out.
so.
But yeah, we have significant parking. We can park thousands of cars in the
Yeah,
athletic
amazing,
fields.
yeah.
and
So
off them.
would, your suggestion is to come at noon and have lunch and hang out and have a good time and maybe even figure supper as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can certainly do that. We've got multiple food vendors. Again, we're focusing mainly on the German food. but we-
Absolutely.
But not all kids like the German food, so there's definitely going to be the hot dogs and the hamburgers,
Well,
fried
the hot
dough.
dogs, come on, where did they come from?
Yeah, it is the Frankfurter,
I
yeah.
think so. I think
good point.
Frankfurter, that is, yeah, works for me.
Yeah,
But kids, they'll like the knockwurst and most of the wurst, they'll like them. Put a little ketchup or mustard on them, they'll
exactly.
eat it.
It'll be their worst day ever.
Their worst day, I know. No, it is going to be a good day, but it might be your worst day also, right? WURST. Make sure we get that right so we don't scare anybody off. So you've got a great team that you're working with.
Great team. We've got volunteers, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you to, we have an all-volunteer committee that puts this event on.
That's a big, it's just like Kids Art Festival. Think about putting these events on. They're
It's
huge.
year-round.
Yeah.
It is year-round. We've already had conversations with title bands for next year.
For next year, good.
But we have an all-volunteer committee that works year-round, and then we have a group of all-stars. There's a sort of another level of committee that comes in for the day of the event. We have, I think it's about 70 vendors that are coming in this year. So people trying to welcome them to the park, show them where they're going to be set up, help them get their materials and
Yeah,
their
because
goods.
they're going to be arriving probably at 8 in the morning to get started to get set up. And you have vendors as well that are selling, flugelhorns or whatever they sell.
We do. We've got
Steins
craft
and
vendors.
things?
Yeah, we actually, for one of the first years, we've actually got a vendor. We ran into him at an Oktoberfest down in the Catskills, and he's coming with some traditional pins and different German novelties.
How cool.
So, yeah, they'll be in there amongst the other vendors.
Yeah,
and
it's
sponsors.
going to be a fun day. Who doesn't like, wait a minute, do you have a dance floor?
We,
How are you going to do the German polkas and things like that?
Honestly, September 25th is the biggest wedding day of the year. That's what our tent vendors have told us. Our tents
Really?
are already up because they are booked solid. So we're going to have an area out on the grass, and again, assuming COVID doesn't require us not to have dance,
Yeah.
we will definitely have an area. We also have from Connecticut the HSV Bavaria Schuhplattler dancers. That's the traditional German dance.
Oh. Yeah.
So they'll be performing when the bands take breaks. They'll be filling in
Oh,
as
how
well.
cool
so.
that is. Well, it's an ethnic festival. The way I look at it, I love any kind of festival, whether it's a Scottish, which I went to the Scottish Games. You immerse yourself in another culture. It makes you understand more about what's happening and appreciate the foods and the music. Thank you so much for having an Oktoberfest. It's just going to be fun. I can't wait.
And stay at the end because there's fireworks again.
Fireworks at the end.
Fireworks,
So,
yeah.
so tell them the hours. You're talking to noon to what?
So 12 to 9 is our published. Our fireworks go off a little after 8 o'clock.
Yeah, because it gets darker now.
It does. It does get darker. So, but yeah, we cap it off with some loud fireworks. And right after noon, we're one of the few Oktoberfests that feature helicopter rides. So we actually
Get
have
out,
independent
you got a
helicopter-
helicopter?
We do.
Well, that's a big park. Yeah, you could do that.
So we have 3 helicopters that'll take turns doing scenic flights, and again, open
Are
doors.
you talking a
masks.
real helicopter?
Real helicopters.
But the small one, that holds one person or two people.
It's a 4-seater. It's a 4-seater, so the
yeah.
pilot plus 3 passengers. yeah.
Okay. How
So
cool
pretty
is
cool.
that? Yeah, I've been in a helicopter. It's cool. It's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah,
And you're starting to get some early foliage in the valley.
Yeah, this is
really
going to be
pretty.
cool. Oh, you've got a great event coming up. And listen, I'm going to suggest you decide to go there because after all, it's outside. What could be safer? And wear a mask if you want to. If you should. and also think about your fellow man and enjoy the beer and enjoy all the good stuff that's there. And you have the pretzels and everything?
We've got the pretzels, we got the brats, we got
What
everything.
more could you ask for? Thanks, David. for
Thank you,
being here.
Ann.
It's always a pleasure to have you here. Next year,
Next year,
we're
bigger
going
and
to
better.
talk bigger and better. Great. We're going to move over to the pine bush. If you haven't understood the pine bush, it's kind of tell us about it, because it's an erratic, it's not like a box, right?
Yes, the pine bush ecosystem.
Lynne Jackson here.
Yes, thank you
Yeah.
so much for having me. The pine bush has I think I have a map here somewhere. of
Yeah,
the-
we
of
do
the
have
pine bush.
maps of, I think they'll bring them up now. There it is.
So if you look at this is a map of the entire pine bush ecosystem. Because what often confuses people is there's the pine bush preserve, and then there's the ecosystem. So the ecosystem of the pine bush is the sand dunes, and the pitch pine trees, and the carnival butterflies, and the 70 rare
And it's a
species.
unique area, isn't it?
It's a very unique area. Some people say it is the best example of an inland pine barrens ecosystem in the world.
Really?
Yeah, it's a very unusual and
So
beautiful
let's build
place.
some, let's see, what can we build there? We could build some apartments, a
Yes,
mall, let's see, what
gas
else can we?
stations.
Gas stations. Let's just ruin that, right?
So,
Are you challenged with that?
Well, yeah, so I just want to explain a little more
Yeah.
about the ecosystem.
Yeah.
We have the map back. If you look at the map,
There
it
it is.
shows that the green area is in the preserve.
Okay.
And the red area is not preserved. And so the red area.
Is it protected?
No, the red area is not protected, it's privately owned.
Okay.
People can do it, people that own it.
Okay.
Private owners, they can do whatever they want with their property.
Okay.
So Save the Pine Bush's goal is to acquire all of the remaining pine bush. And that is what we're working on right now.
And the
is-
Nature Conservancy is also part of this also, haven't they purchased some of the land
Oh,
and
the
protected
Nature
it?
Conservancy has been wonderful, because
Yeah.
what they often do is negotiate with a private landowner, buy the land, and then the state of New York usually comes in and purchases it from them, and then it's donated to the
Okay,
preserve.
because I knew that they were a big
The Nature
partner, yeah.
Conservancy has been an incredible part of building the Pine Bush Preserve. But the Pine Bush is still under a lot of threats, especially in the town of Guilderland.
Oh, I know. I follow that, and I get your emails and see how you go to the meetings and everything. It's a challenge because they've got the big money. And they've got the incentive because of the monetary, what they're gonna get out of it. You are just trying to save the land.
Yes.
And the land is never going to come back. I mean, once you lose it, it's gone.
Oh, yeah, once you lose the ecosystem, it's gone. However, it is possible to recover land that has been paved over, because the pine bush is also unique because it's on sand dunes.
Okay.
And it's a particular kind of sand, and so
What do you
for-
mean in particular? I mean, sand is sand, no?
Oh, no,
No.
you gotta talk to a geologist, there's like, and.
This is what I want to learn, Lynn. You got to tell me, teach me. I know what beach sand is, and I know what dirt is, but I don't know what.
And there, I believe a lot of the sand, the pine bush is colony, loamy fine, but don't quote me because I'm not an
Okay.
expert.
Okay.
But there are different kinds of sands, and the sand, so in the pine bush, like for example, on Apollo Drive, there was a proposed development for a go-kart facility, miniature golf. And that project never happened, and
But
so-
would that have damaged the pine bush? I mean, it
No.
would have in appearance and everything, but would that have damaged the lawn?
absolutely. Oh, yeah,
Or the ground?
But the land already was paved, 4 acres was paved. And what happened is the developer, when he sold it to the Nature Conservancy, removed the pavement. They removed the asphalt.
okay.
Gone. And because it was completely fenced in, the commission, that was the first place the commission put lupins to grow lupins.
Yeah, and you have
bring in
Lupin
bunches.
Day. They have a
Yeah.
big celebration.
Oh, beautiful,
Yeah.
wonderful festival
Yeah.
out there. Absolutely. So it is possible that even if the land is bulldozed or the land is paved over, because if it's within the, it's in the ecosystem, you can remove the
And sand is not topsoil, so that makes a difference, because once you start removing topsoil, then you have more of a problem.
yeah,
correct?
the sand, so the pine bush is, like the pitch pine trees survive, they can outcompete deciduous trees because they don't need as many nutrients. And so that, the sand is just fine
It's
for
fine.
pitch pine trees and
Yeah.
things like that. So.
What a system. I mean, and I know that The Carter blue butterfly, of course, that's kind of like the landmark there. I wouldn't be a landmark, I guess, but it's a butterfly mark or something, I don't know. But I know that you have all kinds of little creatures that are in the pine bush as well.
Oh, yes, there are many, and also it turns out to be a way station for migratory birds that fly from the north, and they stop over in the pine bush and fuel up, and then they go south. It is an incredible ecosystem, and it has, I think, 70 rare and threatened species in it. It's home to things like the spadefoot toad and there are just so many interesting creatures that live there. There's the buck moth there. The Carter blue is the only federally endangered species.
Does it exist anywhere else? Someone asked me that. I said, the home of the Carter blue, I'm like, I really know this stuff, right? Which I don't. But I said, oh, this is an amazing area. I was telling someone about the pine bush. It has a Carter blue butterfly. And they said, does it exist anywhere else? And it was like, I don't know. Please don't ask me that question.
The Carter blue does exist other places
Okay.
besides the pine bush.
Thank you.
But it is severely endangered. I mean, what's happening right now in terms of the world is that we're undergoing the 6th major extinction in the world, and it's human caused. And what's happening is that we're killing our ecosystems, and that's what's happening to the pine bush right now. Because right now, about 3,300 acres are protected, are in the preserve, and so if they're in the preserve, they're protected.
3,300?
Yeah, 3,300.
That's a lot.
It's
yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
The pine bush itself is probably about 5,600, the ecosystem, so we're not quite, we're over halfway, but we're not,
Right.
We have
Okay.
a long way to go. And what our concern is that you have to have enough of the ecosystem for it to survive. And at 3,300 acres, I don't think the preserve is big enough, and that we really need to protect the rest of the pine bush.
My question is going to be, for anyone watching this, how can they help?
Oh, well, people should go to savethepinebush.org, and we have a website. We post information about our the projects that are being proposed. And what Save the Pine Bush does is we educate people about the pine bush, and then we often litigate to stop development in the pine bush. And though our big technique is litigation, makes us a little unpopular. Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Well, sometimes you
it's-
got to do something.
you
I
gotta
mean,
do
there's
what
no
you-
other than, standing there with a card in front of you is not going to get you any closer.
Yeah, so and our litigation has clearly preserved and protected many hundreds of acres of the pine bush. So right now, in the town of Guilderland, there are 3 proposals that we're watching very closely because we're very concerned about. Recently, there's a proposal for a solar farm in the pine bush. Now, of course, say the pine bush, we want solar energy, right? That's what we want. We want solar energy.
But how would that impact the ground?
Well, it makes the ecosystem can't live because you have these huge solar
Yeah,
panels
it's
and it
blocking.
covers the ground, it blocks the sun. So I'm like, well, why can't, Pyramid Cross Gates, and they have that vast paved over parking lot, why can't they get together with the solar
Why
company?
can't you put it on their roofs?
Yeah, or put it on the roof. I mean, why can't the solar company get together with Pyramid instead of destroying 60 acres? It's a big project, 60 acres, pine bush. Why don't they just get together and put it on the roof?
And nobody's opposed to solar energy.
No.
Nobody's opposed to that. But where you put it, and why not on the roofs? I mean, you see in many countries, everything is on the roofs, or they have parking garages, and then they've got it on top of those. And I mean, there's so many places that you could put it that is up rather than on the
Oh,
ground.
absolutely. And putting it and this is what's called an area that has been designated by the Pine Bush Preserve Commission as it should be full protection, which means you shouldn't build anything there because this is an important part of the Pine Bush
But they have the
ecosystem.
money.
Yeah, they have the money and we don't. I mean, that's the problem.
No, I mean, it boils down to that. I don't mean to be, I don't want to be negative, but it's just the fact.
You are absolutely correct. It is the fact that developers have the money and the power and the right to develop.
And
their
they got the
parcels.
attorneys, they probably got a staff of attorneys that
Oh,
are
yeah.
checking the small print somewhere that they can get around it. How many people are working with you? I mean, we Save the Pine Bush. Do you have a lot of volunteers that are researching and doing things like that, or are you it?
Oh, I am definitely not there. There are
Okay.
quite a number of people involved in State
Okay.
of Pine Bush. I'm the one that just goes out and talks all
Yeah,
the
that's
time.
good. No, I'm glad you are here. I'm glad
there-
you're here. I've been trying to get you guys here, but I'm glad you're here now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
There are quite a few of us, and people do different, there are many different things people do. One of our volunteers is an expert map maker and makes all of our maps, and he researches all the properties, everything, excellent. And then we have people that do other kinds of things in research. We had one volunteer who did a whole project to find bats, which was another whole, that would be another whole
And bats
segment.
are part of the
Oh, bats are
ecosystem.
so
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
They're so interesting. And people do whatever they can do. Some people come to public hearings and they speak and they do the research. It
Yeah.
all depends. But we are a completely 100% volunteer group. We have, no office, no telephone. We have an email address and a website, and everything that we do is volunteer.
You volunteer, yeah.
We're very.
I talked to someone who lived on Albany Street, and she lives across from, I don't know whether it's the Pine Bush area, because I'm not that familiar with, but it's all wooded areas. And she would go to meetings and fight because they want to develop all that area, and she's saying, but there's so much there that's nature, why are you destroying it? And I don't know, is that part of the Pine Bush?
I'd have to look at a map.
Yeah, I don't know, it's on Upper Albany Street, way up towards
It could be part of Woodlawn, what they call the Woodlawn neighborhood.
No, it's way up
Where?
towards, I'm sorry, New Carter Road in that area.
Oh, well, then it could definitely be in the Pine Bush.
Yeah,
If
she
it's
thi-
close,
she
yeah.
thinks that it is,
Oh, well, in
so-
that case, give her my name and
I
tell her
will.
to contact me.
I will.
Because, we're very, the
She's
Pine Bush.
she's been doing everything to try and get them to stop, because she said it's a protected area, is what she told me, so I'm assuming it's the Pine Bush.
Well, then it's probably the Pine Bush.
I'll
Oh,
give her
yeah,
your name.
Yeah, please do
Yeah.
that, because it is really important. The Pine Bush ecosystem is located in 4 municipalities. It makes it really hard.
Yeah.
It's in the city of Albany, the town of Gilliland, the town of Colony, and the village of Colony.
Yeah.
So it's hard always for all of us volunteers to always follow every single little development that's proposed, because the remaining land is owned by at least 150 different landowners.
Yeah,
So
well,
it's
I'll
many
definitely
projects.
give her your name and have her contact you, because she's passionate about that. Maybe didn't even realize that there was some support out there for the people who
Oh,
would talk to her.
absolutely,
Yeah.
because we need to protect this. I believe it is the responsibility of the governments in these 4 municipalities to protect this ecosystem. This is such an unusual and beautiful
The Pine
place
Barrens,
that
yeah,
we
yeah.
need to protect it.
Yeah.
And so
Keep
that's
up
what
the
we
good
do.
work,
Oh, well, thank
Lynn.
you
It
so
was a
much.
pleasure to have you on the show.
Well, it was
I
wonderful
want to
being
have
here.
you on again, and maybe in a few more months, and let me know how things are going. and
Oh,
whether-
sure,
yeah.
I'd be glad to do that. We
Good.
also, just one more thing, that we will have in October and December our takeout vegetarian vegan lasagna dinner. Where we
I
do
know you have those, I
delivery.
get those notices,
Yeah,
yeah.
because unfortunately, obviously with COVID.
That
we
You were
can't
doing
have our-
pickup, you order them and you pick it up,
Yes,
yeah,
you order
good.
it, yeah, because you can't.
Get on their
COVID.
website and you can check them out. Lynn, thanks so much for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you very
We're
much.
going to now talk about the big golf tournament. Are you a golfer?
I am a golfer.
Yeah, so tell me about the golfing, what Rotary is doing for golfing.
Well, the Gift of Life it's an organization where we bring a child in from a third world country to Albany Med for life-saving heart surgery.
Wow.
The doctors have donated their time, but we still have to pay for the operating room, bring in the parent, the child, the interpreter, fly them in, put them up, aftercare. All of that costs about $20,000 per child. So with the golf tournament, we try to raise at least $12,000. Hopefully, we'll get it up to $14,000, $15,000. To all of it goes towards that for that operation for that one child.
It's amazing. So this is not, obvious, this is not your organization that is the Gift of Life. There is a Gift of Life organization that you support, is that correct? Or I'm just trying to figure,
Tom knows more about.
Okay, Tom,
but
tell.
it's a worldwide organization.
it's a world, okay.
Yeah, our organization is Rotary District 7190, so it's affiliated with the Rotary District 7190, which stretches from Warren County to Albany County out to Fulton, Montgomery County.
So it's a good-sized
Good-sized
district,
group. Yeah, it's a good-sized district.
right?
We have a parent organization, Gift of Life International.
And is that part of Rotary?
It spawned from Rotary.
Okay.
It was
I'm just trying to, get the picture, that's all.
About 40 years ago, maybe even 50 years ago now, there was a 28-year-old Rotarian in Long Island who heard about a young girl in Africa who was going to die if she didn't have a heart operation. Her name was Grace Aguaru. She was about 8 or 10 years old, and that young man said, let's sponsor this
What
woman
can we do to help?
to come
Yeah.
to come to the United States. She had a successful operation, and that spawned Gift of Life.
So how many children do you, I got that, I'm sorry, did the butterfly in my hair, and I wondered what that was. So how many children that you do like a year? I'm just trying to get a picture of
It's a very
this.
good question. So Gift of Life International usually operates on about 3,500 children. It's the largest pediatric cardiology.
So this is nationwide?
This is worldwide. Most of, 90% of what we do is outside the country. 1 in 100 children around the world are born with a congenital heart defect. In the United States, they get operated on very young.
Yeah, they just
They
take
live
care
in
of it, and that's it.
In third world countries, those children die between the ages of 8 and 16 years old. So that's where we provide our care. So we do two things. As Rich mentioned, we bring children in from third world countries. The last 3 years, with the exception of last year, COVID year, we brought in a child from Mongolia. There's no facilities, medical facilities to operate on that child in Mongolia, so we bring them here to Albany Medical Center and operate on them.
Okay, what I'm wondering is, okay, so first of all, is Rotary worldwide?
Rotary is worldwide.
Okay, so you have Gift of Life, you have this, would someone in France be doing the same thing that you're doing?
Yes.
That's what I was wondering,
Yes.
is so a child from, say, Mongolia or South Africa or wherever, they could end up going to Paris for their surgery?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there was a program that was started in Romania a few years ago, and the Albany Medical Center team and our district Gift of Life program was instrumental in starting that program, along with Gift of Life International. The Romanian government was very supportive of the program and equipped the surgery and the operating room, but they didn't have the medical staff.
Oh, so the medical staff went there?
Went there and trained the Romanian team.
Isn't that well, so you're giving that gift to them?
Yes, and that's Rotary's mission, is to provide a sustainable program.
Yeah.
They don't want to go in and say, oh, we did this, it's great, goodbye.
We're done.
We want to go in and provide a sustainable,
Sort of like
repeatable program.
teaching them to fish, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So how are you involved in this?
I kind of got sucked in
Oh,
about 5 years ago.
don't you love that? I got sucked into this. I wouldn't have done it otherwise. No, I don't believe that. I think you're the kind of person that would do that.
Well, as far as actually running the golf tournament, you never show up late to a meeting.
Yeah, because you're going to be chair, right?
2 years ago.
And you are chair of the golf, right?
Right.
Yeah, Richard.
I showed up late and they had another engagement. And Tom said, hey, Rich, we're wrapping up to talk about the golf tournament we just had a couple of weeks ago. Do you have anything to add? And I said, well, the gentleman that ran it last year said he didn't have enough help, so I was going to volunteer to help him out.
Just to help,
They
just
said,
to help.
Great, you're in.
Tag, you're in. Yeah, you open your mouth and that's it. That's what happens. It's like I go to meetings, unless I want to chair it or something, I keep my mouth shut. After they get the chair, I'll be glad to help, but sometimes, it's like you say something and you're tag, you're in.
Oh, yeah.
I don't mind, usually when it's something that you're passionate about anyway. So you're a golfer, so you're chairman of this, and you're going to Pinehaven, is that correct?
Correct.
And how do you get people to come and hit the ball?
Well, we send notices out to all the various clubs for their members that are golfers or.
And then we
want
don't want to support what you're doing.
And any course that I'm on from April on, I've got brochures in my back pocket, and if you're within
by the way,
arm's reach of me, I just whip it out
Yeah.
and I tell people about it and say, hey, here it is,
Yeah.
So
And do you get good response?
I'm in one league, and I've got about 9 people from that league that are not Rotarians that are going to be golfing.
Isn't that wonderful? Now, what does it cost to do that? I mean, obviously, they're going to pay, but part of that goes to the Pinehaven, right?
Right.
And then you get some of that you're going to be using to not promote, but to help with Gift of Life. So how does that work?
Well, it's $500 for a foursome or $130 for an individual. Once we pay for the golf cart and for the food, the remainder of the money.
It's all yours, okay.
All goes to that operation.
Yeah.
We have no overhead, we're all volunteers. We do a lot of
So you
raffles.
raise quite a bit of money then, when
Oh,
you do
yeah.
that? And he's looking at, what, 14,000 this year, is that what you said?
Yes.
Well, we got our fingers crossed, yes.
Well, it could happen, right? And of course, you want a good day.
Oh, the weather looks very, very good.
And when are you having this?
This is next Monday. the
Next
20th.
Monday, okay. The
So
weather's
we still
good.
have
I
room
did
for-
look at the weather forecast. It looks pretty good.
We still have room for about 4 or 5 foursomes. So whether you want to join as a foursome or an individual, we do have room for you.
Now, I think I could be wrong, but I think it starts at 8:30 or something. Was that the right time, or
Well,
was that something
registra-
else that I was working on?
Registration starts at 8:30.
Okay,
And
registration.
then we have a
So I was
shotgun-
right, yeah.
Shotgun start is at noon.
So how do people just kind of rack up, and then if their start time is at 10 o'clock, they go and have a cup of coffee or something? Or
Well, everybody starts at 10 o'clock. So.
how does that work?
Well, we'll have 4 people on hole 1, 4 on 4-2.
Oh, I
4 on
see. You
hole
start
3,
them at
7.
different holes. They don't
Yes.
start at 1 and work on, so they could start at the 9th hole
Right.
and then come around to the first hole.
Everybody starts at the same time.
I
And
did
ends at
not
the same
know
time.
that. Oh, that's
And we
fascinating.
break at lunch, and then they go back out and do the other 9. And then
So
we'll
it's an
have
18 hole that
Right.
you do.
raffles and prizes and happy hour afterwards.
Sounds like a really fun day.
We had 120 people last year during COVID. We ran it a little differently with the COVID protocols and did a staggered start, not the shotgun start, so we kept everybody apart. But this year is more traditional, and it's a what's called a scramble. So 4 people all hit off the tee. You take the best shot, and the other 3 pick up their ball from the woods or the water or wherever
Yeah.
it is and go pop it in the middle of the fairway and shoot from there. So it's a very player-friendly game. You don't have to be a great golfer to play in a scramble. It's
Just for
really
fun,
meant
right?
Yes.
Just for fun, but the purpose is to raise money for Gift of Life.
Yes.
And I was not familiar with this program, and I'm really glad that you shared that with me, so that at least I know that there's something out there, people doing good for other people, that's a good part, right?
And we're all volunteers, and we've been around for, since. the
Rotary, I have
1980s.
to say, Rotary does such really good stuff. They've done work with water and different kinds of getting water in areas where there's no water, and, I mean, it's an amazing organization, and really dedicated to helping others. And if you want to join Rotary, what do they do?
Go on our website, which is giftoflife7190.org.
Okay.
We are a 501c3. And contact me. My phone number's on there, and we can get you connected with a local organization.
Local, because there's a number of Rotaries.
Yeah, there's 41 clubs in the area.
Yeah, isn't it amazing? And I know that people are they love Rotary.
And Rotary's pretty quiet about all the good work that they do. They've been very instrumental in helping to eradicate polio from the world. We don't get much press about it, which is unfortunate. I think we should, be a little more boastful. But
Why not?
we've done a lot of programs
Yeah.
like the water program and
Yeah.
Water for the World, Pure Water for the World it's called.
Yeah.
And our Gift of Life program has been great.
There's a very unique story about the boy that came in last year. He came in at 10 years old, and he was crawling, and just because he had to learn to walk. Had the operation due to COVID, he couldn't leave.
Maybe that was a good thing, right?
During the extra 3 months that he was here, he actually learned to walk, so he crawled in and walked out.
Walked out, wonderful. I'm going to tell you who's coming up next week. Thank you both for being here. We're going to be talking with an author, Dave Balog, and he wrote a book called Get Your COVID-19 Vaccination Now, ASAP. So we're going to be talking about that. It's a wonderful book because he chronicles everything. We're going to be talking about MySci and their great big exhibit coming up, calling Seeing Ourselves. NCAP is here. They do a lot for the community as well. And we're going to hear a story, I'm sure, from Kate Dudding with the Story Circle. I want to thank you both for being here.
Thank you, Ann.
I'm Ann Perillo. You're watching Capital Region Today.